Hey guys, it's the Mad Stacker here with another LEGO set review. I am very excited about this one. I've been waiting to do this almost since I started doing reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, you guessed it, it's this 70816-1 Benny's Spaceship! Holy moly, this is 940 pieces, 939 according to Brickset. It is a LEGO movie set. It was probably released today. I don't know. Some people said that they found them in some Toys R Us's. Clutch got the call this morning that they were in a Toys R Us close to us, and we decided to each get one because it is awesome. It is Benny's Spaceship. Ever since I saw the movie, I've been waiting to get this set, and it's finally here. Let's just jump right into it. I'm going to have to go over here and grab it because this thing is gigantic. I don't know. Here, let me just pick it up. It's kind of heavy, too. Holy moly, would you look at this thing. It is huge. I can't even begin to describe some of the features in this thing. Let me actually pull out here so I can show you the whole thing all at once. It's gigantic. I mean, 940 pieces. I expected it to be big, but I had no idea that it was like this. I don't even know where to start features-wise. You know what? Let's just start from the front. There's a whole bunch of stickers on here. The sticker sheet was gigantic. I was really surprised. Because I was like, well, if Benny's building it, where did all the stickers come from? They seem pretty specialized. I don't know. Starting right up here at the front, you can see, I'm going to turn off the fan so that maybe you don't get that spinning reflection in the cockpit there. But there is the cockpit right at the front. It does have some flick fire missiles, which I feel like I can forgive in this case because it literally has every kind of missile. It has flick fire missiles, it has the new spring-loaded missiles, and it has classic Technic missiles. I'll go through them as I go through it, as I said, going from front to back. So here is the front. This is the first cockpit. It opens up pretty well. It's that trans yellow, kind of a classic space color. There are five seats total in the whole ship. There's 3 of them in here. Again, sort of the classic space seats. I wish that I could show you the details a little bit better because there's these cool kind of control panel decals running in there. You can see it a little because of the light. There's a double control panel in the front, which you can see a little bit there. I'm trying to hold this without it completely falling apart and just shattering on the floor. 3 seats in there with a really awesome detailed cockpit. I feel like between all the seats, you could probably easily fit the whole crew in here. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw I already posted a picture with Metalbeard on the back as he was in the end of the movie, which, now I'm going to tell you this right now. I got my hands on a copy of the movie, and I was watching it while I was building it because I figured what better way to build the spaceship than while watching the movie. And 3 different times in the course of the movie, including the one at the end where he finally finishes it, Benny starts building the spaceship, and I observed each time, this is the spaceship he was building each time. Generally, he only gets about as far as the front. You can definitely see, like, the front, the nose cone in some shots, parts of the cockpit he starts to build. But this is it. This is the ship from the movie, and it's awesome. Continuing to about halfway down it, you can see this part on the middle here has a whole bunch of ridiculous greebling in it. I love it. There's the spring fire missiles right here on either side. It's got some neat details here all over the place. These crazy new donut pieces that have a hole in the middle. You can see there's a stud right in there. And this part, in case you couldn't tell, right there where it says latch and latch, this part opens up. And inside here is a whole bunch of... It includes a wrench and a hammer, which you probably... I mean, I could pull them out, but you just have to trust me that they're in there. Let me see if I can... No, and now things are falling all over the place. But, needless to say, it does have a wrench and a hammer in there for some reason. There's actually, you know what? There's more like 6 seats. There's really 3 seats in there, but there's 2 more of those control panels in there for people to sit at. And there's a really cool... I wish I could show it to you a little bit better, but there's a clear panel at the back there, and there's this crazy little engine piece that you build that has a bunch of yellow gems stuck into it. That's a really, really awesome detail. You wouldn't even be able to tell from looking at the set, you know, how that is or how that works, but it looks really neat. Close that up there. Moving to the back, You can see it has the dish. You remember from the movie, that was one of the parts he saw. Spaceship, that's got to be in there. So it's right here. And it flips up just like that to be more dish-like. And one of the first really neat features in here are these guys. I'm only going to take one out because they're both exactly the same except for the color. But they're these little robot drones, and they got movable arms, and they can hover around and do robot drone things. Like I said, it does come with two of them. There's a yellow one and a red one, and they both sit in there pretty well. I was wondering, as I was building it, I was like, it seems like there should be a cover for this part of the ship. And then eventually, of course, it ends up being that dish there. Now, one of the really neat parts of this set that I don't know if anybody knew that it did until now, but there's a whole Technic assembly inside this back part of the ship. And what it does is extends the wings, which is crazy, makes them really battle ready. You can see it exposes more the Technic missiles on the side, which will fire off. I don't need to show you that. You know what Technic missiles do. You probably have plenty of sets with them. But needless to say, I mean, it is really cool. And it's just this little engine part at the back. You push it in, and the wings extend, and you pull it back, and they go back in. These parts here are on little Technic pin hinges so that they can bend up so that the whole thing moves really smoothly. I'm sure it'll move really smoothly for time to come, because I don't think I'm ever taking this set apart. This thing is awesome. That's most of the ship. I mean, I really wish I could just show you all of the crazy details on here, all the coloring that went into it. Some great, classic space decals, some nice classic space printed bricks you can see there on those slopes on the front there, the classic space branding on them, the one right there on the front. I mean, this, I can't talk about how cool this thing is. Obviously, I mean, you just kind of have to whoosh, just fly that thing around. It needs to be flown. It deserves to be flown. That's how cool it is. The last feature, last but not least, and you've seen it on the front, are these little parts here on the wings actually come off. They're just connected by a little hinge piece that I'll show you here. They're connected by this little piece right here to the end of the wing, and they fold out into little individual spaceships. Now these are like, of course, the first thing you built, because they have to have you build all the small stuff first. But even these, I mean, they've got some really neat details, these tiles on the wings here, that cool decal on the front. I mean, even these by themselves, like this would have made a neat little poly or something, like Benny's mini spaceship. But these are really cool. Again, it comes with two of them. They go on either side. They're pretty much exactly the same. So you're going to build one, and then you're going to build the other one. But again, I mean, they go right on there, and they look really neat. You can put people in them. I don't have anyone in there because I wanted to show you all the minifigs individually. But that is the whole. I'm going to do this again because it's cool. Whoosh! I can't gush about this set enough. This is probably my favorite set since the Eradicator mech. It's really cool. I showed you those. The last little piece it comes with is this neat little Octan mini spaceship, and it does have kind of like an Octan space branding on it. Again, from watching the movie while I was building it, I can tell you that these are actually the ships that were chasing the spaceship near the end of the movie. There's a whole mess of them chasing after Benny and the gang as they run through the Wild West and every other world in the Lego movie. Gosh, I wish this thing would turn off. It's not working, but it doesn't matter because this thing is still really cool. Even this has some really neat details on it. These blaster cannons on the sides. I love that classic cockpit that it's on there. It's got the same cockpit as the Eradicator mech. This thing is really, it's got, nice little red details inside there. It's got a cool little printed piece right there in the cockpit. Even this thing is neat. This whole set is neat. There's nothing wrong with this set. With that, let me go through the minifigures least first. Even though, I mean, I wouldn't call them least. There's this really crazy... Oh! It's an Executron! It's an Executron that pilots this thing. You can see, if you can see the detail there, you can kind of see his tie coming through there. But he has a really gnarly face that it's a little tough to make out there, but it's really cool. It's a little Darth Vader-ish even for an Executron. It's got the Octan branding on it. He's even got a little printed body armor on the back there, if you can see it. He's really cool. He comes with a helmet with a little trans red visor on it. I even like his blaster. It's just a simple, the kind of the clip, the super secret police blaster you've seen with a bunch of Lego movie sets, with a little trans red thing on the front of it. I think he's even cool, and he's the bad guy that just sits in the ship and gets blown up by the spaceship. But that's all there is to him. Now, second up is, of course, our hero Emmett, and this is Emmett from near the end of the movie where he's masquerading as a robot, which is pretty funny. You can see the sort of tinfoil details on his face. He's even got little tinfoil details on his shoes. They're so shiny. He comes with a cup because he's undercover, of course, which is I think that's pretty funny. Oh, he's even got the printing on the side there. You can see, and he actually has a different piece of resistance. This one is a little more reflective silver, which I thought was cool. I wasn't sure they were ever going to make the piece of resistance in any other colors, but there you have it in that shiny metallic silver. That's Emmett in his robot guise. I think he's pretty funny. Next up is Space Wildstyle, which I wasn't sure ever actually appeared in the movie. And then again, as I was watching it while I was building it, at the very end, yes, you do get to see Wildstyle in this classic space branded outfit, of course with the sort of Wildstyle graffiti kind of a detail on it. She's even got some printing on the back, which is really cool. Is that something? No, that's just some sort of like Wildstyle graffiti. She does have two head prints. She's got this standard sort of, concerned print on the front, and a little more standard print on the back. But Wildstyle is pretty cool, and I'm glad to have another version of her. That makes 3 for me. But next up is Unikitty, who I don't have yet. I never got my hands on the Cloud Cuckoo Palace, so I am glad to have at least one version of Unikitty. This is, it's the space branded one, so it's mostly blue. But again, it does have the classic space branding on the little arch piece that's her body. You get the little tail and the little golden unicorn horn. And, of course, she's adorable because she's Unikitty. And that's just the way she's supposed to be. I do like her little gold printed boots to match the horn and all that. I really like this stud on her head that has a hole in it to put the horn. I'm sure that some people are going to find some crazy fun uses for those pieces, even though they may still be hard to come by. I don't know. That Space Unikitty, she's awesome. Now, of course, the man of the hour, the man you've been waiting to see, it is Benny! Benny comes with this set, and everyone wants Benny because he is awesome. Voiced by Charlie Day in the movie. A breakout character. Everybody loves him. He's great. He does have 2 prints on his head. He has more of a standard Lego face on the back. I was hoping that with this set, he was going to have a face where he was like, oh, spaceship! But that never happened, and maybe it will in the future, but until then, we can only hope. His accessory is a walkie-talkie, I'm sure, for contacting everyone else on the ship. The other thing that I wondered before I got Benny was, of course, in the movie, you can see that the bottom of his helmet is broken, and it remains so on here. It's a little hard to see because it's not focused. Can I do that? And it'll focus in maybe. No, of course not. But you can see his helmet's kind of supposed to be broken. Now, I was wondering if in the figure it was actually in 2 pieces, or if it was just kind of molded that way. And the answer is, it is just molded that way. You probably won't be able to see it here, but it's solid. I tried jimmying them apart. I didn't want to actually break it, obviously. But it is solid. It is one piece. It's just designed to look broken because, of course, the classic space helmets, the bottom was very thin, and they often broke. But that's Benny. He's even got the faded space logo on the front of him, as opposed to everywhere else on this set where the space logo is pristine. His is faded because he's actually been around since the 80s. That is just about it for the spaceship. Let me show it to you again because it's huge and it's awesome, and I'm keeping it forever. That is it for the Lego Movie Spaceship review. I'm not doing a minifig of the day because this is already probably my longest review, but I'm gonna pull the wings back in and then I'm gonna push them out again. Whoosh! And one more time before I leave, I'm gonna fly this thing around because everything is awesome.